Like, it took genuinely years to figure this kind of stuff out. And it really did work the same way with me. In fact, this is another part of the whole thing with sin, is that it can very, very rapidly begin to escalate, which is what ended up happening with me, where I was initially only looking at one type of art. I say art in loose quotations here, but what ended up happening is that I very quickly began to gravitate to additional things within the whole vor thing. There's no real good way of saying that. You know what I mean, other than the mouth.
Yeah.
I began to look at that kind of thing, and then I was straight as well, but then I began to notice that the more and more I was looking at this stuff, I was becoming less and less satisfied with the heterosexual art. So then I began to look at the homosexual art and began to gravitate towards that more and more.
Yeah, I get you 100%. It was the same with me. And actually, I was talking to someone literally just today, like in Telegram, and he was telling me something, and I don't know if this is exactly stated in the Bible, but I do think it makes sense. Whenever you do certain things, like expose yourself to certain things, it can open pathways for demons to attack you and cause you problems that you didn't quite understand, that like you just don't know where they're coming from, right? So in my case, which may very well be what happened in your case too, I was straight at first as well. And then when I started, like in the case of Table here, I started to eventually lose interest in that and gravitate towards the gay stuff. Back then, I thought, oh, it was me discovering my sexuality. I guess I was just into guys all along. That's why I'm not really enjoying the heterosexual stuff as much as the homosexual. Sure, I didn't notice before, but that's because I didn't really have the option. I wasn't really exposed to homosexual stuff before. But now that I have both in front of me, I'm able to see, oh, I guess I just really liked guys more all along. But that's a lie. I really do believe that's a firm lie. I believe it was the act of me actually looking at the pornography that gave the demons legal right and permission to cause me problems, to allow me to start to develop these very sinful lusts. And just to get this out of the way, in case anyone's watching and having doubts, the Bible is very clear in Romans 1:26-27, 1 Corinthians 6:9, and there's a 1 Timothy scripture as well. I forget the reference. Homosexual practice is a sin, not the temptation. Let me be clear. It's never sin to be tempted. You're not a sin just because, the devil tempts you to do something. Like, you're not automatically sinning by doing that. But if you feed that temptation, if you act on it, that's a sin. So yes, it is a sin according to the Bible to do homosexual practice. And no, God didn't make me gay. God didn't make Table gay. God didn't make anyone gay. God gave us free will. It is our choice what we do. And I believe that my choice to look at that pornography stuff opened the door for demons to have the legal right to put these additional temptations on me.